I'm making this one video to try to help out a friend that's in a calisthenic group. So if you're watching this, anybody else that happens to be doing something close to this, just know. Um, what I'm trying to do is you said you have 1 month to get ready for your physical fitness test in the Philippines. If Now, I'm not completely familiar with the Philippines physical fitness test, but I did Google it to see that it is still sit-ups, push-ups, and a run. Um, I was in the Army, an American Army, many years ago. I took the physical fitness test, and there's quite a few other people that's done exactly the same things. There's not huge variances, but even like the Army physical fitness test for America, it has changed since I've got out. I've had to even look and see that was a lot different. Um, for instance, on the sit-ups, um, I read that you have to have your arms crossed now, and then that your hands need to touch your knees. I'm assuming that means this forearm portion, but you, of course, will know better than me on the requirements of exactly where the contact has to come. You need to Google a lot of that to figure out and make sure you're doing it right. What I would say on your timeline, you said you have 1 month to get ready. That's enough time. Um, you said you were 5'10", it's like 192 pounds and 20 years old. The good news is you do have excess body weight right now, which is fine because you have 1 month to dial that in. You do need to get your nutrition good because if you're going into a boot camp situation, you're going to have to eat right, and there'll be a lot less sugar. So if your body is used to sugar and caffeine and things like that, I'm quite certain that it'll be an extreme shock to have to do that. So you might as well put your body through it now. So do that shock now, and that way your body won't be going through withdrawals while you're there. That's a lot of extra stress you don't need. So do the withdrawals now while you can do it on your own terms. You're literally like detoxing out of being a druggie. You have to get some of that stuff out. So, try to do that. You only have enough time, in a 1 month period. You can get your body into fat burn. So you'll start using that stored energy that you have as fat for your energy to grow muscle. And that's a good timeline. So 4 weeks does that. You'll still be good. So all you need to do is, again, dial in your nutrition. Make sure you don't start just starving yourself, because you don't want to do that. You're going to be working out hard, so you still need to feed yourself good. Just, focus on proteins and not a lot of white breads and a lot of excess starches, and don't do the processed food stuff. If you can stay away from all of that, just really dial in on healthy stuff. Your push-ups, you need to work on, in a 1 month portion, getting your muscle memory. That will help you tons. Even if you're the same exact strength you are now, in 1 month, your muscle memory on memorizing those muscles need to engage for doing this push-up. If you are going to be doing your push-ups, like you could say, you could be doing bench press and all kinds of extra things. Those things do help you greatly. But if you have 1 month to get ready, you need to focus on just the essentials of exactly what you'll be doing. So if you're doing on the bench press, on the push-up portion, get yourself your form. You need to memorize your body. You don't physically memorize it, your body memorizes it. So get your form down and work on making sure that your back stays very rigid. Bring your arms in, and then keep modifying this until that feels very comfortable for you. Maybe try to knock out however many you can close and see where that hand position is going to be comfortable. So if it's here or rotated or slightly farther, if the requirements are the way they were for the Army whenever I used to do it, you're still allowed to rest in this position and then go back to it. In the U.S. Army, it was that you were never allowed to take your hands off of the ground. If that's the case, do vary it up. I would max out my push-up portion of the PT test every time. But that was I would put my hands as close as possible. Again, checking to make sure all this is correct. Put your hands as close as possible. And then for the first 20 to 40 push-ups, to get that reps as high as possible. Now, whatever that number is for you, that's fine, but bring them in and try to focus, once you've got a good form down, on just the push, and then you let your body fall. You don't waste energy trying to slow yourself down. You're basically catching. And then you don't have to work on the going down and going back up. So as you're doing the push-up, you will do it as fast as possible. I'll demonstrate. So bring them in, and by going up, you go. And you knock out as many as you can. Let's say if you're practicing doing them like that, and you can get 20 or 30, don't do that many. Do really close to it, but don't burn yourself completely out. So if you're getting up in the high reps, you're getting tired, before you knock out that last 5 or 6, stop, rest. Let your muscle recoup for a few minutes, not minutes, seconds, because I believe it's still like a 2-minute test or something. So you have to get as many as you can in that amount of time, but rest for a couple of seconds. And then you go back. And once you get several done like that, vary your hand position a little bit. Rotate, possibly widen. You will engage a different muscle group, and you can knock out more. If your hands stay the same, you won't be able to knock out as many push-ups. Again, if I was doing them like this, and then I was getting tired, I would rotate. That engages slightly different muscle groups. And now I'm bowed out. So this is a less efficient way of doing push-ups, but it engages a different way. So my elbows are flared. So if I was doing them in here where they were tucked, which is the most efficient, I would rotate and flare, and you'll feel the difference. And then you can go back and modify a little bit. That's a good way of knocking out as many as you can. And again, trying the first ones, you do it as fast as possible so that you're just working out on the press and you're kind of falling and then the press. After you have to slow down, unfortunately, you'll be doing it the whole way doing the workout, and your body will be under a strain for the press and the decline. On sit-ups, I'm positive that they're allowing, you probably have one of your fellow soldiers holding your ankles or something. So you can duplicate that at your house with the corner of a bed or a sofa or anything, just something to hold you down, to counterbalance you. I'm going to assume that it's a 90-degree angle for the sit-up. They said the thing I read, it said the starting position was you had to, every time your back was against the ground, arms crossed on your chest. I'm assuming it needs to look like this. Now, I'm guessing that that's what they're talking about with it touching. Of course, you look that up and make sure you're doing it correct. I would not focus. Now, again, don't go down slow. That uses muscles. When you go up, basically try your best to focus on disengaging. And then focus up and disengage. Because that won't use muscles going down. That's a rest for your muscles for a second. So it's a rest instead of actually straining them. So try that where you fall down, then you engage back up. That'll help you. Again, muscle memory is going to really be your key. And then on that run, nothing helps you for training for running except running. So train on that run, build yourself up. Don't overtrain so much that you hurt yourself right before going. Train with possibly, if you had a lot more time, I'd say every 3 days you should do like upper body, lower body, and work through it. But in a month, you don't have time for doing all of that. Your best thing is going to be training for exactly what you're doing. Train for that run and make sure you can run if you can. If it's like, I think it's roughly 2 miles. Train for like 2.2 miles. if you're running laps around a track or something, train with one extra lap. Day of, it'll be so much easier. Just train for that, and that way your body is used to that amount of distance, and when you're giving it your all, you'll be able to give it your all just a little bit more, and you'll be a little faster than you really planned. I hope this helps you.